Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to another Countdown to Christmas video. My name is Leanne, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And thanks for joining me today. I'm going to make a card today called, I think it's called a pull-out and pop-up card. It's rather simple to make. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And we're going to use Yuletide Village today. And we're going to use a few other things I'll show you. This DSP is from the Nest of Winters, I think it's called. That's the one with the birds. So I've just pulled this Pool Party DSP. We've got Pool Party, some basic white, and some basic gray. And this is what we're going to use. So we need 3 pieces. I'm going to give you those measurements right off the bat. If you want to write those down. Our card base is going to be this basic gray, and it's going to be 9 3/4 by 5 1/4. So let me open this up. Let me go 9 3/4, just like that, by 5 1/4. And we're gonna score this on the long side here at 4 1/4. 4 1/4. I learned how to make this during COVID, actually. My customers and I met weekly by Zoom as things were a bit shut down at that time, and we learned how to make this then. So it has been a while. I'm scoring a 1/2 inch now on both sides. It's been a while since I've done this card, and truth be told, I am kind of flying by the seat of my pants right now, so let's see how that goes. Okay, so that's the card base. Let me repeat that. That's 9 3/4 by 5 1/4, and then I scored it at 4 1/4 on the long side, and then I turned it over to the short side, and then 1/2 inch down on each side. Let's put that aside. You need a centerpiece that's going to pop up, and I'm using a white. You can use any color you like, and that's going to be 7 1/2 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to do the 3 3/4, and then 7 1/2, and then we will score this at 3 inches on the long side. So 3 inches, like that. This is going to pull out, and it's going to pop up. All right, and we have one more piece to do, and that is just it's called our mechanism. That's what's going to pull a card out of a card, basically. So 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. Now you want to, you don't have to, I do. There's a grain to paper, so I'm wiggling this up and down like this. This way is definitely easier than this way. So this way is easy. So I'm going to put that down in my cutter. I'm going to go 3/8 and do a score line. And I'm going to turn it around and do 3/8. The reason I'm doing that is because this mechanism has to curl. In order to work, it's going to kind of curl up and down as it pulls a little card out of a big card. And so you can burnish it, or you can still burnish it. But if you look for the grain in the paper, one way will always be kind of easier to move than another. So this way I know the grain is going up and down, so it's easier to roll. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside for now. Those are my cutting pieces. Okay, well, let's bring this back in. All right, so we had scored the original piece here. Not sure if you can see it because of the dark paper, but here's the shorter end of the card. So I want to cut this out. I did a score line all the way to the bottom here. I want to cut all of that out and all of this out. So I'm going to bring it back in my trimmer. I'll go to the 1/2 inch. I'm not sure if my trimmer is all on camera or not. I think so. All right, I'm going to go to the 1/2 inch. I'm going to bring my cutter up to that fold line. You don't have to be exact because you can clip the rest with your scissors. I'll turn this around Okay, go on the 1/2 inch mark again. I'm going to go close to that score line. You can cut it by hand if you want. I just find this way a little bit faster. Now, if I can find my scissors, here they are, we will cut this out. So again, this was the longer portion of the card. This is the shorter. So on the shorter, I'm just gonna go, here's my fold right here. I'm gonna go on a bit of an angle and I'm just gonna cut this out. Just like that. So I'll do the same on the other side. So that is what I'm left with. I'm gonna fold this over. All right, this is the inside piece and it was scored at 3 inches. So I'm just gonna fold that over and give you a bit of a visual here. So what we're going to do, and I'll fold this, is eventually we will get this inside out and it will actually pop up like this. So that is the goal of the card today, but we're going to decorate this first. And I'm going to bring in this DSP paper, and I know this is about 4x4. So I will bring this in. I'm going to cut it at, I don't need it to be exactly 4x4, so I'm going to cut it by 3/4 by 3/4. So 3/4 by 3 3/4. That's what I meant to say, 3 3/4. So that's going to be a bit of a background. I'm going to bring in some lighter gray. All right, I got a scrap piece here, and I want that to be smaller, just slightly smaller. I think this is, if I just, this is 4 1/4. The front panel of this card is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to make it a 4x4. So smoky slate is what I'm using, 4x4. So it's a couple weeks before Christmas, and I have to say, I really hardly have any shopping done. I did injure myself though. This is the excuse I'm giving myself. I've been going to the gym and I tore my calf muscles, so I kind of had a couple weeks on the couch, not really moving very well, so it kind of put me behind, to say the least. And so I am a little panicked about getting stuff done. I should have done some more online shopping is what I should have done, but anyway, we'll get there. No big deal. All right, let me glue this down to the front. Just like that. All right, and here is my smoky slate. So it's not quite, it's a 1/4 inch smaller all the way around. That's my mechanism. And I'm going to use a circle die, and I'm taking this from Stylish Shapes dies. I'm going to cut a circle kind of up here in the corner. Where is my tape? I'm going to cut this out on my die cut and then also run it through the snowflake embossing folder. So let me do that and I will bring that back. Okay, so I have my smoky slate with the circle cut out, and I've embossed it with that snowflake die. And what are we going to do next? I want to stamp this church on the front here. So I'm going to cut a piece of Whisper White that is 4x4. So same size as that smoky slate. And that's going to be, I don't really want to call it a template, but that's what I'm going to use. Kind of, sort of as a template, but I'm going to stamp on it as well. So you will see what I'm up to here in a minute. All right, so same size. I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to take a pencil. If I can find a pencil. Yep. And I'm gonna lightly just do that. So I have that's the bottom of my circle. I'm doing that on purpose because I'm gonna take this church and I'm gonna take this tree and I want to stamp it, but I want this to be, I want to be able to put the word Christmas down here from the Peaceful Season stamp set. So there's this Christmas and then there's the die, the Christmas die that goes. So I want it to be able to fit. In fact, let's just pull this out. I want it to be able to fit down here. So I want to be careful. It's actually going to go on this piece, but I want it to fit and not interfere with this house. So I think it will fit. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at where the pencil mark is and I can see that it's at the bottom of the steps of that church. So I keep that in mind and I stamp it, making sure that I don't stamp much below those church steps. And I want it kind of over to the right. So I hope I don't get my head in the way here, but I need to see where that pencil mark is. Bottom of the steps. Okay. But I don't like that. Oh well, I'm going to do it anyway, but I'm not happy with it. Could be happier if I did it again, but you know, my nitpicky's starting to come out, so I'm going to do it one more time. Okay, I kind of like that better. I re-inked my Memento pad the other night, and it's a bit juicier, I think, at the top. But that's okay. We're going to leave it that way. If I were doing this card and I wasn't recording, I would probably do it 2 or 3 times till I got it, till I got it the way I wanted. I don't know. Some of you out there might be like me. I get a little picky sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to erase that pencil mark. All right, I'm going to color this church. I'll speed this up and I'll be back in a sec. There we go. So that is my church. So let me bring my card back in. And what I want is I'm going to cut this out. I want to make sure Christmas fits on the bottom, which it does, just like that. But I want this church, there's no die for this church, so I'm going to pencil where I want to cut. So I'm going to cut here. I'm going to cut all the way around the church, and I'm going to create, let me see, a bit of a hill, because I'm actually going to put the words Mary up here, so I need room for that. So I'm just going to make this a hill behind the church somehow. I'm just going to roughly kind of do something like that. As long as I can get the word Mary from here, I should be good. So let's see. Let's turn this around. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stamp that word Mary. I'm going to use basic gray. And that way I'll know for sure that it's going to fit. So I want Christmas down here. And I want the word Mary. All right, that's better. So let's bring my scissors back in and I will cut around this and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've cut that out. Let me bring in my eraser. One of them. Those little things I'll lose on my desk all the time. All right, it'll show up. It'll show up. In the meantime, what I'm going to do... Oh, no, that's not it. That's my mono eraser. I don't know, I can never keep a clean desk, even when I'm recording. Not sure what that is, but anyway, I will find it in a minute. I'll just use the end of this pencil. Don't like that too much, but it will work. There we go. Get rid of those pencil lines. All right, let's just bring this back in. So here is my idea. So we have the church now. We can, if we want to. I think what I'm going to do is, first and foremost, what do we got there? Pencil mark. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to take a piece of scrap paper. So I've already done this once, as you can see. Oops. All right. I've got that, and I'm going to add some adhesive sheets to the back of this, because that Christmas word is a bit thin and it'll be a lot easier than gluing it if I use this. So let's take this. I think it's about an inch or so, like that. We don't need all of it, so I'll cut it. Actually, it's got a little score line right here. Perfect. So I'll peel that off. I'll put that on the back of this basic gray. Okay, so that should fit. So I'm going to turn this over, put the Christmas here where my sticky strip is, and cut that out. I'll be right back. All right, there's my Christmas. So I'll carefully take this out. I don't want to lose that little eye that's in there. So let's pop this out. Now all I have to do is take that backing off, and it's nice and sticky and a lot easier than glue. So I'm going to leave the tip of the eye in there for now. And I'll move all this out of the way. I'll peel the backing off. Carefully, not to stretch it out too much, but it does bounce back. Okay, so I'm going to put that here. So I'll start here and just slowly manipulate this. Hopefully we will be center. All right, just like that. Now the little eye, the dot of the eye. It's still in here. Now this doesn't always work. I'm going to try and take that backing off without pulling out the little tip of the eye. So let's see. Nope. Didn't quite do it that time. Let's see if we can get it in there. Yep. Okay. All right, so it's in there. Why do I do that, they ask? Because the positioning of that little eye I find difficult sometimes. So I just put this back over top, and then my tweezers, and I push down there. There we go. There's my eye to the Christmas. All right, so a little bit of assembly here, and then the front is done. So I'm going to glue this on. Just like this. And I think I'm going to pop this up a little bit, so I'll bring in some dimensions, and I'll keep, and there's one other thing I want to do before we assemble the inside is I want to take this tree, I'm going to stamp that, color it, and cut it out. So that's just going to take me a sec, so give me a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have a tree cut out. I sure wish they had made this set with dies, but oh well, fussy cutting once in a while won't hurt you, will it? So let me pop this up again using some dimensions. So one here, there, there, one up here, one down there. I think that should do it. All right. Okay, so before I actually stick that down, I'm going to glue this tree in the back. It's a lot of glue on that. Might wipe that off a bit. Okay. All right, just like that in the background. All right, that's how I want the front of my card. Perfect. Okay, so now that the front is done, let's move on to the inside of the card. So we have, this was our inside of the card. Remember, it was 7.5 this way by 3 3/4, and we scored it at 3, and we folded that over. So I'm going to decorate this, not too much, just a little bit. Let's see, that's 3 by 3 3/4. That means I want this to be 3.5. So I'm going to do 3.5 by 2 3/4. That will be a little piece on the front. And we also want another piece. I know this is going to seem a bit strange, but this was this piece that way. So we're going to cut this to 1 1/4 inches. So that was 3 3/4 by 1 1/4, and you'll see what I do with that in a minute. All right, so let's get this glued. I'm not going to be too fancy with the inside of this. You certainly can if you want to. Let's just pop this up. Okay. Now, I would like something to go on the inside. Do I have something in here? So I will grab that. And where did my basic gray go? Right here. Make sure you stamp this and sign it even before you assemble it, because it might be a bit tricky after. We will see. Okay. Just like that. All right, so assembly time. Okay, we're gonna use that in a bit. So here is our mechanism, okay, 2.5 by 2.5, scored on both sides. Pick the side that is really easy to roll like that. That means your grain is going up and down. And we're gonna fold these little corners opposite each other. Now, admittedly, sometimes I get this backwards, so let's see if I can do it without mucking up. Okay, let's bring in some double-sided tape. We're going to put that on one end. And the opposite end. So the tape is not on the same sides, okay? There's tape here, and then turn it around and there's tape on the other side. That's what you want. And let me see. All right, so we're gonna bring this in, and we are going to take this tape and we want to center this up here on the fold. Now, you don't have to be exact, but just so it's kind of centered. You tape that down like that. I'm going to, all right, open our mechanism up. Okay. Make sure that this is centered, like I said earlier. Then we're going to fold the front flap closed until it is on the fold of this mechanism, okay? And you're not seeing it, so it's just slightly tucked under that edge. Now you've got each side where you nicely centered. Okay, you're gonna open this up. You're gonna remove this tape. You're gonna keep it folded over. And you're gonna close your card. Whoop, everything moved on me. Okay. Okay. Just like that. So we should be able to roll this now in and out. You can burnish this if you want with a bone folder. I didn't. I find the white is a little thinner, but if you're using a colored cardstock, you might want to do that. Okay, so that is basically your mechanism. Now we're going to take these pieces here and add some, I'm going to add some tape on the outside on both sides. Okay, now you want to take this out of the way, so bring that up here, fold this, and close it. Now, I'm kind of doing one side at a time. That side, and that side. All right, so there you got your pull out, pop up card. Now, there is a little piece here. I'm going to say that your card can get stuck on. So if you look inside that little flap that we just glued down, this is where this little piece comes in. That's not the piece. This is the piece. Nope, that's not the piece either. Well, we can cut another piece. All right, we're gonna make one. So you should have a piece that's 1.5 inches by about 4. This will work. There you go. You want it long enough to cover up that little piece of cardstock, because it tends to make your mechanism get stuck. So if you do that, your mechanism won't get stuck. So let's just add a little piece on the inside here, and that will complete our card. That will make it easy to maneuver. Let's see, just like that. Now, if you want to, I did do one with a bit of a pull tab on it. I put ribbon on mine, but you certainly don't have to. But that makes it so much easier to slide back in when it's not getting stuck on that folded piece. You could actually fold it and put it on the other side if you wanted to close your mechanism that way. I don't like that because you can see it, but that would be up to you if you don't mind that. And that is a pull out and pop up card. So I really hope that you enjoyed that. I thank you for watching today. You guys got a couple weeks left to finish your shopping and enjoy Christmas with family and friends. So we will see you next week for another countdown to Christmas. Thanks, guys. Bye.